This is exactly how we took Elastaboy from making just under $25,000 in a month all the way up to collecting $86,735 in cold hard cash. And the way we did that was by fixing three things. And that's exactly what I'm going to go into in this video. As you can see here, here's a dashboard screenshot of $86,000 cash collection and just over $104,000 in total revenue. So where's the traffic coming from? Most of the traffic on Elastaboy's page is coming from Instagram, but we also have YouTube, we also have Facebook, and we also have TikTok. All these leads funnel into our funnel, which is the essential funnel, right? So we pretty much run a low to high funnel. So to break it down, low ticket, right? With lead purchases, basic program, which has a time limit of 14 days. That's just enough time for them to get a small win, which we can then leverage onto booking them onto a high ticket closing call, which is exactly what the dialers do. The dialers triage the lead, qualify them, build urgency, and then book them onto a high ticket closing call. If the lead is unqualified, i.e. they are from a third world country or they're just too young, then we close them on the mid ticket. And that's the exact same process in their DMs. Now, to go on to the mid ticket, right? This is an advanced program compared to the low ticket, plus a community aspect. And this is normally 90 days. Once they're purchased, they'll be directed to book on an onboarding call with a closer who run them through all the deliverables and soft sell them into the high ticket. Right? If they don't close, then setters and dialers will re-engage every single month to ensure service delivery is 10 out of 10 and on point. And in their final week of the mid-ticket program, setters and dialers will re-engage to upsell them to a high-ticket offering. Now, the high-ticket offer in itself, it's a custom program, one-to-one coaching and community, right? So we have 3, 6, and 12-month options, and the setters and closers will check in every month and pitch renewal on the last week, or mainly the last month, closer to when they're finishing off with the program itself. Now, what they'll also do, if needed, is offer a reduction and also 1 month free as incentives to renew. Now, what are the three things you might be asking which help contribute on more than 3.5x in total cash collection? So the main thing, which we start off with, was setting processes. There weren't clear setting processes in place. So what we did when you came on was implement highly detailed frameworks, training, and SOPs for setters and dialers, right? This included proven custom plug-and-play scripts, which generated well over $400,000 in cash collection across the portfolio of other offers we work with in the fitness space. Now, as you can see, it's pretty detailed, like literally plug and play scripts, inbound, outbound, reoffer, LTO, follow-ups, DQs. Everything was there, and anything that came up more than once was SOP'd and put into the trainings, right? So every level, anything that came up more than once with the setting team or the dialing team was SOP'd, right? Because this saved so much time when it came to feedback from the management and from the sales team that we just became much more efficient. Secondly, organization and tracking, leading to my point with efficiency. Move setting from the Go High Level platform all the way over to ManyChat. ManyChat was a game changer, absolute game changer when it came to this, right? We started utilizing tags for setters to become more efficient, and setters spoke with more leads, which led to more bookings, which led to more cash collection. What we also did on the Slack SOP systems, or at least one of the things we did incorporate, was closers and setters post-call confirmations for their daily calls. This wasn't something that was being done before, so as soon as we came on, we implemented it right away. Next thing that helped massively was clarity on qualification. The qualifying criteria was very, very broad. So when we came in, we made sure that leads who are being booked on were US-based, with some exceptions, highly qualified non-US-based prospects. We were qualifying on 30K plus per year in terms of income. Qualification was higher for non-US based prospects as they tend to be non-financially stable or less financially stable. We qualified on specific pain points, not general fitness. Or what happened was we'd get the setters to future pace the leads so that urgency was created even with no current pain before booking them on a closing call, right? So we asked the prospect, okay, so what if you don't address X, Y, and Z, or if you don't actively take action with X, Y, and Z, what does that look like for you in 20 years time, right? And we create urgency via that. High urgency, of course, urgency created to improve setting processes as mentioned above and creating more resistance in conversations, right? Calling out prospects when needed. Also, probably, no brainer, no under 21s. Obviously, we just downsell them all to the MTO package, right? What does this mean? More qualified calls being booked, higher show rate, higher close rate. On to the second thing, right? This was an absolute game changer. What was this? This was DM closing. Right, as you can see, we start off with the MTO. So this was DM closable in the DMs. Leads who aren't qualified for a call. Third world, we close them on the mid-ticket option, right, in the DMs, right? Setters were trained up and upskilled on how to do this, and we had the relevant SOPs and training to allow them to best perform this in a very, very short amount of time. We had setters who came on with no relevant high-ticket sales experience who came on and started closing 1K in the DMs off the bat, which was amazing to see. And that all was down to the setting principles, the frameworks, and the training we provided and the SOPs we created. Also, reoffers, right? These are all the leads who didn't close, right? Setters follow up with oldest leads in the pipeline as they're tracking all this data. They reoffer them with a bonus, whether that be a free month or $1,000 off. And they downsell to MTO, which is the mid-ticket offer, as a last resort. As you can see here are some screenshots of the Slack payments that have come through as a result of that. And the main thing, this was the massive thing, which really changed the game for us, was PCFUs, right? Set this follow-up post call with every lead who didn't close, right? We leverage the creator's authority and handle all objections, and then we collect payment, right? Here you can see 6K deals, 5.5K deals, 4K deals, 6K. So this contributed massively, right? It's not some, $50 program sold in the DMs. These are very, very high ticket packages being sold in the DMs and closed by setters, right? Not by closers, by setters via text messages in the DMs. The third thing, which was optimizing the marketing, right? Content optimization. So as mentioned before, we've got Instagram, we've got YouTube, we've got TikTok, and we've got Facebook. All four of those, should I say, weren't really being utilized to the best possible, in the best possible way, essentially, right? So what we did was we started incorporating story sequences, hook, story, CTA, right? Hooking the prospect in with the story sequence, creating a story in between. Okay, this is how, where someone started, showing social proof with our client results, and a CTA to message via the DMs. What we also started doing was CTAs which were pain point oriented and direct, right? So what we had at the start, we had literally tens of thousands of leads messaging us at any one point per CTA, which was just too much volume, right? Setters could just not handle, and the quality of that volume was very low because it was very broad. So what we had to do is we had to niche down who was actually messaging us, and that helped massively with the quality of the people messaging us, right? So setters, they were able to qualify very early on based on the pain points, where the lead was from, and the type of conversation and what they messaged with, right? So less overall volume, but higher urgency. The next thing was no lead magnets. Lead magnets were the worst thing ever, which is quite surprising because contrary to popular belief, lead magnets are meant to be good. They're meant to get you more marketing. They're meant to get you more leads coming through, more lead flow. But this actually worked in the inverse. We got more leads coming through, but our DM to book call percentage was very, very, very low. We had 3,000 leads per setter coming in, which was insane. So what we did was we removed lead magnets and we just started being very, very particular about the way we pushed people into the DMs, right? So this took DM to book call percentage from 0.02 all the way up to 19 and 20%, right? Which is exactly ideally where we want it to be. Obviously, we're pushing for higher, but that's a good benchmark to have. And this was all via the removal of lead magnets. Another thing we really hadn't done when it came to marketing was leveraging the creator's own personal journey when it came to where he is now versus where he started, right? And that was something that seemed to be very, very helpful when it came to warming up our audience and creating a high level of trust. So we did this, we created a whole story sequence when it came to this, a carousel post from where he started over the years, what got him into the industry, how he progressed on. Obviously, even showcasing some of what we do at, with our offer currently, the coaches involved, right? Client testimonials, creating more social proof. And they were all directed to the YouTube channel, long form YouTube channel. When they got to the YouTube channel, right, they watched this video, which was long form, 20 to 25 minutes of exactly his journey, him, creating relatability with the audience, increasing the trust. From the video, the prospects were led to a link in the bio, and this link took them to a landing page, which was this. The landing page had a VSL on it, has got a VSL on it here, which goes into pretty much the common issues that the prospect might be having when it comes to their fitness, mobility, and flexibility, right? And then we have a CTA, apply for your one-to-one call, type form, we get the name, email, and contact number. And if they don't fill that out, then this is what they do. They continue scrolling on, and this is what they see, right? Creating rapport with the prospect, relatability, another CTA, apply now, right? Continue. If they haven't continued to book that, click here to book your free reborn mobility call, then they continue scrolling again, right? More disarming the prospect. Until even more, right? We've got testimonials now. Then if they continue scrolling again, then we start explaining what they actually get in terms of the one-to-one high ticket offer. And then we have a more further in-depth explanation into our Reborn app as well. Here's exactly what we go to a call, explaining the call. Picture yourself future pacing the prospect here as well. Another CTA, apply now. FAQs at the end. At this point, had they scrolled all the way to the bottom, they are going to book in, right? That's just the bottom line. They are booking in. When they do book in, they're tagged in the CRM as specifically coming from this landing page. And that's good because the dialers have the relevant context on how to dial them appropriately. So what happens? They send over to the dialers. Great. From the dialers qualify, build urgency, and it can either go one of two ways, depending on how qualified the prospect is. If the prospect isn't necessarily qualified, right? Whether that be, financially not secure or maybe too young, then they get pitched the MTO, which is the mid-ticket offer, right? They're a better fit for the mid-ticket offer. If it's a case of this prospect has high urgency, they're age is perfect, and they have a good job and they're qualified, boom, high ticket, right? And both of these are booked in with the closer to close them, right? The mid-ticket offer and the high-ticket offer. This way, we ensure that the closers aren't just downselling everyone unnecessarily, right? People actually getting pitched the mid-ticket offer are people actually who the high-ticket offer wouldn't even be a good fit for in terms of a financial context, or they wouldn't be qualified for. So these are the three things that took us from $24,000 in total cash collection, all the way up to $86,000 in total cash collection. And you might be thinking, you know what, it's pretty simple, right? Nothing too technical. But it's normally the simple things that people tend to overlook, right? Most offers haven't got a DM closing process in place. They haven't got a standardized setting process in place, let alone SOPs, trainings, and frameworks. And if you haven't got those things in place, and you're wondering about something broader, like optimizing your landing page, or optimizing this funnel or that funnel, then you're forgetting about the basics. The basics are what actually make the business run, right? And this is exactly how we're going to get Elastaboy to $100,000 in cash plus a month consistently. It's by mastering the basics at scale. That's it for this video. Catch you in the next one.